Aion 2 is a new upcoming MMORPG developed by NCSoft, which should be released in Korea in Q4 of this year and 2026 globally. While we are waiting for some kind of new information regarding what is happening with Aion 2, currently I have found this very interesting article giving us lots of information about future of Aion 2, including when are we exactly getting Aion 2 released globally. That information you will see during this video. So let's dive into today's video. You'll find out what is bringing future to Aion 2 from CEO of NCSoft. Before we start, let me just say subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more of Aion 2 videos in the future. I have a YouTube channel dedicated to new upcoming MMORPGs. Games like Aion 2, Chrono Odyssey, Arcade Chronicles, Bella Torres, and many more. So if you are interested into new upcoming MMORPGs, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm having huge focus on Aion 2. Also, make sure to visit my live streams on Twitch. I'm live streaming every single day, mandatory, no skipping. Visit me on Twitch. If you have any kind of questions regarding the game, I'll be glad to answer and also to keep you updated regarding everything what is happening in the world of Aion 2. But now let's focus on the main topic of this video. This actually very interesting article on Business Post Korea. Business Post is saying here, overall, it's a game. They're, of course, talking about Aion 2. It's a game worth looking forward to. In particular, the PvE battles between users and bosses in the game was really fun. This is the review given by famous game streamer in a review video after attending Aion 2 FGT focus group test. So first test for players in Korea was held basically on the end of June for 2 days. And even that we didn't see any kind of official information from NCSoft after that first test, we have seen some feedback. We have seen some feedback from the players who have played this game for the first time. And here on the start of this article, they are mentioning feedback from one of the players. Aion 2 is not just a new game for NCSoft. NCSoft, one considered one of the free N, Nexon, Netmarble, NCSoft, representing the domestic game industry, has suffered a huge blow to its status due to the slowdown in the growth of the Lineage series and successive failures of the new games such as Trickster M and Blade and Soul 2. That is true. Last few years were not easy for NCSoft. Lineage series is not performing that much good, and their new games also didn't perform that great, including Throne and Liberty. As you probably know, if you are following my YouTube channel, I can play Throne and Liberty since release in Korea, and of course after global release. And I can tell you right away, Throne and Liberty have failed badly. Combine that big failure of Throne and Liberty on Korean market and on global market with Lineage series not performing that great. Well, what you have NCSoft in not that much great situation. Also, they have laid off some people in 2024. They have made completely new infrastructure for the company. That's a story for another video. Anyway, situation is not looking that much great within the last few years for NCSoft. Now, for NCSoft, which does not have many IPs to utilize, Aion 2 is like last remaining lifeline. Absolutely, yes. Aion 2 is last remaining lifeline of NCSoft. If Aion 2 succeeds, NCSoft is on a good path. If Aion 2 fails, NCSoft will be in big trouble because they have some other games, don't get me wrong, we are going to talk about that during the video. They have some other releases coming like Project Triple L. Also, Blade and Soul Heroes will be released globally on September 2nd. There are a few games which they will release in the next year or two. Nevertheless, their main focus is Aion 2. If Aion 2 fails, that's it. I don't know what will happen really with NCSoft. In fact, it is known that NCSoft have high expectations for Aion 2. There is also talk that Aion 2 development team is under considerable pressure internally. Really? There is also talk that Aion 2 development team is under considerable pressure internally. I mean, I guess that would be kind of to be expected because they are having high expectations from Aion 2. So there must be some pressure internally. While CEO has only played a role in providing direction for games developed by NCSoft, it is known that he's involved into entire development of Aion 2. This is actually really great to hear this information. So CEO of NCSoft is directly involved into development of Aion 2. Yeah, stakes are big. Stakes are massive. In the recent FGT test, Aion 2 received positive reviews. Absolutely yes. And we have seen also shares of NCSoft going immediately up, price of the shares after that positive review, because that was consequence of this positive reaction of many players, not many actually, about 100 players who have played first FGT test. Automatically, stock market did react and shares went up for NCSoft, further raising market expectations. And we're looking at the symbolism of that Aion 2 holds. There is talk that depending on what kind of game Aion 2 is released, as in its success or failure, the path that NCSoft will take in the future could change. Lineage 3 Brothers, created by businessman Tae-Yin Kim, developer Image Declines Universe Profit CEO Tae-Yin Kim, is a symbolic figure of domestic game market. In 1990s, when South Korea was wasteland for game development, he developed a Lineage and made it a global hit. When we are talking about very strong IPs from NCSoft, definitely Lineage or Lineage, however you want to call it, is one of the strongest and probably the strongest IP from NCSoft. Aion is also a very strong IP from NCSoft, don't get me wrong. However, Lineage, yeah, it's very strong. CEO Kim, who grew NCSoft into a global game company, has two identities at the same time. As developer and as businessman, this sounds really good. I mean, this sounds really good because not only that CEO Kim is a businessman, gentleman is also developer. That sounds amazing. As a developer, CEO Kim prioritized the pure fun and completeness of the game, and furthermore, the artistic quality of the game. I'm glad to hear that. On the other hand, as businessman, CEO Kim cannot ignore company profit and sustainable growth. The most representative games created by CEO Kim as businessman are the free works called the Lineage 3 Brothers, Lineage M, Lineage 2M, and Lineage W. NCSoft have grown by making huge profits for a long time throughout Lineage 3 Brothers. The Lineage-like model centered on probability items and PvP, player versus player, brought NCSoft a lot of money. But at the same time, it was a symbolic game that brought down NCSoft corporate image as a game developer. After the success of Lineage M, Lineage-like games began to flood the domestic game market, and fatigue from excessive inducement of payment, excessive competition, and repetitive content grew extremely among gamers. And in the process, resentment toward NCSoft, the creators of Lineage, also grew. So over there, I have noticed many Korean players, they don't like NCSoft. Here in the West, that would be like nobody likes Amazon games. That is very similar situation. So global players don't like Amazon games. However, over there, Korean players don't like NCSoft. Why? A reason is, I guess, pay to win. Let's go forward. Oh, they are mentioning here Throne and Liberty. Let's see what they will say here about Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty, the talisman for comeback in Image, ends with Dog Meat Tang Hulu. Whatever this means, Dog Meat Tang Hulu, I don't think this is good. I don't know what this means. Maybe you are going to discover later during this article. But Dog Meat Tank Hulu doesn't sound good at all, right? Throne and Liberty, released in December of 2023, I was there on servers in Korea, is a game that NCSoft confidently presented while shouting change in atmosphere. However, Throne and Liberty also failed to turn the atmosphere around. NCSoft reduced the in-game elements in Throne and Liberty and focused on the content centered on gameplay, but ultimately failed to achieve meaningful commercial results this year. But ultimately failed to achieve meaningful commercial results? Definitely they have failed. I can confirm to you that on servers in Korea and globally. Globally, actually, they had pretty good start. I mean, considering we are now in 2025, living in a very dynamic gaming market, Throne and Liberty actually had pretty decent start here globally with peak number of players, concurrent players on Steam, 336,000 players only on PC. There were additional players playing this game on consoles, PlayStation 5 and Xbox. So start was good until Talandra update. After Talandra update, everything went crashing down. And Throne and Liberty, sadly, have failed. So global market, Korean market, definitely failed. NCSoft consolidated 21 servers into 10 just a month after the release of Throne and Liberty and reduced the number of servers again in May 2024. According to Game Metrics, domestic PC room game statistics company, Throne and Liberty PC room occupancy rate was only 80th at the second week of July 2025. This is one of the metrics which they are using over there on Korean servers for many different games. The PC rooms are very popular. This is much more something specific for Eastern regions, not that much here in the West. Here in the West, usually we play games at home. There are also some PC rooms also here in the West. Nevertheless, it's much more popular over there in Korea. And you can see this, rank 80 on the second week of July 2025. That was very bad. The user response was also different from what was expected. It even got a negative nickname, Dog Meat Tank Hulu. Again, this phrase here, I'm not sure what this means, because the restaurant that used to sell dog meat started selling Tank Hulu because it was popular among MZ generation. Contrary to NCSoft's intention to create user-friendly game that broke away from lineage like Throne and Liberty, ended up being a game that failed to properly achieve both commercial success and image enchantment. Definitely yes. They neither have succeeded in commercial success, neither in image enhancement. Neither of these goals they have achieved. Once again, choosing change with Aion 2 with Kim Tae-kin, developer DNA lead NCSoft Future. In the recent FGT test for Aion 2, many testers evaluated that Aion 2 does not follow the payment structure seen in existing lineage-like games, but focuses on strengthening PvE-centered content and easing the burden of payment. This is good. So we are not going to see hard pay-to-win like in lineage type of the games. Definitely looks like that pay-to-win could be potentially there, but it will not be hard predatory pay-to-win like lineage series of games. In fact, a famous game streamer participated in the focus group test and uploaded a review video saying many people are worried about inducing payment, but it does not have the BM, that is a business model, feel of lineage like at all. Okay, it seems that NCSoft have decided to respond to the demands of gamers once again despite the failure of Throne and Liberty. It is also the result of CEO Kim Tae-kin once again asserting his identity as developer. Okay, this is good. Of course, this choice by NCSoft carries significant risk in terms of short-term profitability. In a situation where the perception that the company is in crisis, in widespread point of carrying out strong restructuring, such as large-scale voluntary retirement and organized restructuring, it is quite an adventure for the company to boldly abandon existing sales centers model and forge a new path. Definitely, it is a bold move. Definitely, it's a bold move to leave that lineage model. But I have to say, I think that global players will like this. Not only global players, also I think players from Korea will like this idea, this new business model, which is not that much hard pay to win, and it's much less predatory than lineage or lineage, however you want to call it, business model. The future ramifications of NCSoft and Kim Tae-kin choices, where will Aion 2 lead NC? The success or failure of Aion 2 is expected to have a significant impact on NCSoft future strategies and the Korean game industry as whole, beyond the success of single game. Absolutely yes. If the positive evaluations from focus group tests continue until the official release, let's hope so. We need to be optimistic, absolutely. Stay positive, stay optimistic. Information which we have seen so far regarding Aion 2 are looking very promising. Not only regarding business model, they are talking here mostly about monetization, pay to win and business model, about BM, but in generally, information which we have so far about Aion 2 are looking very promising regarding in-game systems, regarding classes, weapons. Everything what we know so far from feedback from FGT test is looking very good. So stay positive. We need to be optimistic, definitely. NCSoft can overcome the resentment of domestic game users and restore its brand image. If Aion 2 succeeds, they can do that. Not only on domestic Korean market, they can do that also on global market. I still believe they can do that. So Let's hope for the best. Furthermore, it could be a great help in NCSoft entry into key global game market, absolutely, such as North America and Europe. On the other hand, if Aion 2 fails, NCSoft dependence of Lineage will deepen further, which is likely to lead to a weakening of global competitiveness. NCSoft's strategy of challenging new experiments, such as Throne and Liberty or Aion 2, could also be greatly weakened. NCSoft and securities industry are predicting a high possibility of Aion 2 success. Definitely. I can tell you also that. I can tell you also as a content creator that there is a high probability of Aion 2 success from information which I have so far about the game. NCSoft co-CEO Park Byung-mo confidently stated in recent conference call announcing the company's second quarter 2025 performance, Aion 2 is targeting annual sales of 300 up to 350 billion won in 2026, and we expect Aion 2 to account for half of new IP sales. This is a really amazing number. Kyobo Securities also predicted Aion 2 expected sales in 2026 at 558.5 billion won, assuming a release in Korea and Taiwan in the fourth quarter of 2025 and global release in the third quarter of 2026. Finally, here we go. This is the information which I want to share with you. Very important information for us global players. Release in the third quarter of 2026 globally. I mean, regarding Korean release, we know already that from before, fourth quarter of 2025. But this year, third quarter of 2026 globally, that is so far from release. Sadly, but maybe it's better that way. I have a video on my YouTube channel where I'm actually talking why they have this strategy, release the game first in Korea and after that globally, and why actually that could save Aion 2. Because in short, they are using Korean release of the game as one massive open beta. And they are testing the game, improving the game, fixing the issue, and then we are going to get in global version of the game, much improved version of the game, much better version of the game. That did happen with Throne and Liberty. I can confirm to you that. I can confirm to you that information because I have played Throne and Liberty on servers in Korea since December 7, 2023. And I have played it also after global release. And I can tell you that NCSoft have improved Throne and Liberty greatly from Korean release all the way up to global release. For global release, we have get much better version of the game than it was originally in December of 2023 for Korean release. Definitely yes. So this is, I guess, idea what they want to do also with Aion 2. This was happening on report on 15. An official from the gaming industry said recent companies that have focused on the quality of the game itself rather than probability, such as Krafton, ShiftUp, Nexon, and Neovis, are receiving high evaluations in the market. And Aion 2 Adventure could be an opportunity for NCSoft to take a leap forward as game developer, reporter Yoon Hui Yong. This was actually so much interesting article, very interesting interview here with CEO of NCSoft, where we can get so much interesting information about the future of Aion 2. Definitely for NCSoft, lots of things depends on Aion 2. What we have get, I would say, most important information here is regarding their prediction. When are we getting Aion 2 globally? And that will be third quarter of 2026. So stay optimistic, stay positive. What I can see so far, information about Aion 2 are looking very promising. Something to look forward in 2026 globally, but already in Korea in November of this year. At least I hope so. I'll try to play the game. Definitely I'll play also on servers in Korea in November of this year. If you're interested into Aion 2, check my YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe because I'm preparing lots of videos regarding Aion 2. Guides for new players, PvP-wise and PvE-wise, dungeons, raids, everything what you need to know from World of Aion 2, you'll find it here on my YouTube channel. Also, make sure to visit my live streams on Twitch. I'm live streaming every single day, mandatory, no skipping. Visit me on Twitch every single day about 7 p.m. Central European Time. If you have any kind of questions regarding the game, I'll be glad to answer and also to keep you updated regarding everything what is happening in World of Aion 2. Thank you for watching the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitch, and see you soon with another Aion 2 video.